Over the years, I did learn tricks and tips along the way, and I feel like I can share some of that with you. And with screw clamps, that's the topic of the day. I want to show you guys how to get the most out of those. I used to think these screw clamps were borderline useless or kind of like a one-trick pony. As time went on, I learned different things that you can do with these, and for beginners, for people that don't have the necessary tools or don't have a shop full of clamps, or you need a helping hand, this tool can go a long way. There won't be any mind-blowing tips or tricks happening in this video, but what you'll leave from here knowing is you can get the most of this, especially if you're short on tools in a shop. Let's take a look at the first idea here. If you need to hold your lumber in an upright position, all you need to do is attach the clamp to the bottom side of your material. With these clamps having such a vast surface space, this makes it easy to stay balanced on any flat surface. Not only can you use this freehand, but you can also clamp it to your workbench to act as a vise. By clamping a single side, this allows you to make adjustment to the clamps and swap your materials. Here you can see holding the material in an upright position, I can sand the edge, or I can use this setup to apply edge band. Here's another variation of using these as a helping hand in case you don't have any corner clamps. If you notice, I have a clamp on the outside edges. Just butt these two up against each other, and now you can add brad nails, install pocket hole screws, drive dowels, whatever you need. For this setup, I'll line up the edge of the clamp to the edge of my workbench and clamp that side on to the workbench. Then I'll repeat the same thing on the opposite end. I find the setup to be quite useful, especially if you're dealing with large panels, whether it's a half sheet of plywood or a full sheet. When you're dealing with a limited setup, this is when you have to get creative. When you're working with a miter saw, there are times that you'll need to make repetitive cuts. Using a screw clamp is a great solution for a stop block. If your miter saw has an expanding fence, you can add the clamp to it and then make micro adjustments. Now, just as I used it as a stop block on a miter saw, you can also do this on your router. Now, if I wanted to do some sort of repeating pattern, I can lock the clamp onto the fence as a stop block. Then I'll route all my materials on the first pass, make the adjustment, check it, and then route the second pass. And this way we'll keep everything quite consistent from each material to the next. Even though I was slightly off while eyeballing the center of this dowel, using the clamp made it easy to hold the dowel steady while drilling. Not only is this good for holding on to lumber with flat sides, but it does a great job with holding on to round objects. As an example, if I needed to cut this pipe, it's quite simple to clamp onto it, mark it, and cut. It didn't seem to matter too much whether I was clamping it in a horizontal position or a vertical position. Whenever those moment pops up, the screw clamp does a great job in holding small parts. And last but not least, let's say we need to cover the edge of a plywood. I have the strips cut, and now I need to apply wood glue on the edge, then I'll place this on top. As you may know, the minute you tighten up this clamp, this will start to shift. What you could do here is take a screw clamp and tighten it onto the edge, and this should keep everything aligned. If you're going to do this, I recommend you take packing tape and wrap the inside. This way wood glue don't get on it and lock your clamps onto your workpiece. I would think that every wood shop or anyone that do a bit of woodworking do have these, and I do think that they're cost effective, especially for people that are starting out with woodworking. They are not hard to find. These are from Rockler, but I also have some from Harbor Freight. You can find these just about anywhere. They also come in different sizes. This kind of clamp is not necessarily going to replace this sort of clamp. They do work great in tandem. All right guys, so that's going to do it for this one.